Good evening. I'd like to call the village board meeting for the Village of Cary for Tuesday, July 21st, 2020. To order, please. We do have a quorum of village board members in physical attendance at the meeting tonight. However, as authorized by the Illinois Open Meetings Act, village board members Cavelli, Kraus, and Weinheimer will be participating remotely as their attendance at this time is not practical or prudent due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Roll call, please.
Betts.
Here.
Collier.
Here.
Cavelli.
Here.
Kraus.
Here.
McAlpine.
Here.
And Weinhammer.
Here.
Thank you. Would you join me with the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll now move to the open forum where the public is invited to make an issue-oriented comment on any matter of public concern not otherwise on the agenda. We have one individual, Dave Miller.
Yep, David Miller, 65 Highway 14, Cary. It's on the consent agenda, what I'm talking about, just a car wash. I see it's going to be approved for the conditional use for the property, but I think it's a great spot for it at that side of the street, but should be behind the Thorntons, taking up highway frontage. I'm not sure if that's a done deal, the location for the car wash on Selke property. I know the comprehensive plan calls for it to be commercial all along there, and I think it's a waste of a car wash to be taking up the prime frontage on Route 14 when it's still got good visibility and attached to the car wash. To the Thorntons will be right behind it, and still the same presence and everything else all to it without taking up our prime frontage on Route 14. That was just my concern, and I'm not sure where it stands with what you guys are voting on other than just letting it go on that property. And I know the lot that's going on is being subdivided, so it's not like it's a lot designed just for that car wash, so you do the same thing with the lot behind it. So I just think it's something to be checked into to see if they can't put it behind the Thorntons more to the east, other than being right on Route 14 frontage.
Thank you for your comment. I'll kind of ad lib here with regards to that. I believe that was floated by the developer, and they have interest on being right on Route 14. It is commercial, and the car wash is deemed a commercial application. They had no interest in moving their operation off of Route 14.
Mm-hmm. Just they don't get much tax dollars out of a car wash compared to some other kind of business could take, get better visibility on 14.
Yeah. I agree. Thank you.
Okay.
There's nobody else present. We'll go ahead and close open forum at 6:02. I have a couple things on my report. I have a employee recognition. Perry Mercury from the police department has been with us for 5 years. Do you want to come up front, please? It seems like we just promoted you, right?
Yeah, we did. So I was
In
gonna,
the 5 years that you've been here, think of what you've been through. I remember swearing you in, and now you are a sergeant in your 5 years. That's incredible. That's awesome.
yeah.
Thank you for your service. We appreciate it. I'm glad you're here. Thank you.
As I said, just a couple things is Perry, or Sergeant Mercury was just recently promoted, but he came to us via the McHenry County College and Richmond Police Department. He's currently assigned to our in-house crash investigations team, and he's been recently appointed to the McHenry County Regional Traffic Crash Investigation team as well.
We have a small token of our appreciation. Thank you very much for your service. Thanks, sir. Continue. Yeah, right. There you go. He's also a proud Cary resident, so that's he's doing double duty. So thank you very much. Actually, 2 hours down from where I used to be. Thank you.
Thank you.
How do we know that's really him?
He's got a name tag.
That's all it takes.
What's that?
Just a name tag.
I can show up tomorrow.
Slide right in the Cary PD.
There you go.
Right?
Thank you. And now the other thing is the Downtown Cary Strategic Plan. We've got a couple representatives from the Lakota Group who will kind of give us a brief synopsis of what's going on. Come on up and take the microphone.
Before they start, this a great opportunity here. You can come on. This is a great opportunity for the Village of Cary. We were fortunate getting a grant and working with the RTA, the Regional Transportation Authority. The village got a grant for that to work with the Lakota group and have them help us develop a vision for our downtown.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you, Ms. Mayor and trustees. Yeah, we really appreciate being here today. I'm Mike Kritzman. I'm a senior associate, planner and designer with the Lakota Group. Here with my colleague Scott Ruland, who's really the project manager for this kind of day in and day out. So Scott, I'll just give you a quick update and overview of the project. But just to introduce our firm, we are a multidisciplinary urban design, landscape architecture, urban planning, preservation planning, and engagement firm based out of Chicago. We love working in communities like yours. We've worked in all over the region and nationally, and it's just really nice to be here to see you guys, introduce us. Firm, we hope to be working with you in the future, and we love planning processes and projects like this, and especially communities like yours. So I'll get out of the way and let Scott.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for having us. We had a good day today of stakeholder meetings, which is primary reason we came and spent the day here in Cary, which was very informative. A little bit about the project and what we're engaged to do. As Mike mentioned, the Lakota Group is an urban planning firm. On our consultant team, though, also we have Goodman Williams Group, who are real estate market consultants. So we'll be looking at the economics and finance side of the project. And then Sam Schwartz Consultants, who are traffic planners and engineers, who will be looking at the transportation and parking components of the project. But we're more or less engaged to kind of really drill down in the downtown area of Cary, generally within the quarter-mile radius around the metro station, and looking at the area. One, what redevelopment potential is there? What vacant sites are development opportunities, or what developed sites maybe are redevelopment opportunities? Both of them looking at the conceptual massing and scale of potential buildings on those sites, and then the economics of those. You know, what type of tax rate generation if it's a commercial site, or what kind of rents or value could it bring in as a residential site? So we'll be looking at that. We'll be looking at parking in general, parking supply and location, and looking at ways to better organize and utilize the parking areas. There's certainly not a lack of supply in parking in the downtown, I would say, but that is perceived as having a lack because of where it's located, hidden behind the school or hidden behind, the long metro lots, aren't as easily accessed as some of the maybe downtown shoppers would want them to be. So we'll be looking at that. We'll be looking at all kinds of different transportation and pedestrian improvements to make access both for cars and people a little bit better in the downtown area and make the businesses more accessible. And then finally looking at just kind of the market opportunities. And this is a real difficult question to answer. Goodman Williams really have their work cut out for us given the current situation. But commercial uses, residential uses, what types of residential uses? We heard from groups today on what they think is missing in the city. And so Goodman Williams will be looking at that, the types of residential uses, multifamily, attached housing, single-story ranch style, apartments, condos, those kinds of things. And then I mentioned transportation and kind of the wayfinding, getting your way around downtown. So those would be the kind of the primary objectives and what we're looking at. We'll be working with Brian here and you eventually to bring ideas and concepts to you. We're talking about scheduling an open house, hopefully in the next couple of months or so. Hopefully current status of things in Illinois will allow that to happen, to have a in-person open house, because that's really the best way to get input from the community, show ideas, show concepts, and really get people talking and excited about what could happen in downtown Cary. Happy to answer any questions.
And I'll just add too, I think an important point too is you guys have already done a lot of great work, planning work in recent years, comp plan, streetscape plan. So I think part of what our job isn't to reinvent the wheel on those, is to look at how those things align, and then how do we move those ideas in a consistent, consolidated way, move them forward into implementation. And that's everything from big ideas we're talking about to little things. And I've been pointing this out almost every session we've had. What you guys did on Spring Street, even just little pop-up tables, that kind of thing is so great to see for us, because you're testing ideas, and it's half the battle of a plan like this, project like this, is just getting the community to see how can they start playing with ideas, testing out ideas in a setting like downtown. So you're already way ahead, and I think it'll be exciting for us once we get into implementation strategies to be able to work with what will essentially be half a year of data, actually, about how things are performing downtown already. So.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving ahead, I will entertain a motion to approve consent agenda items number 1 through 8 as shown on the village's website as displayed on the village monitor during the village board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Collier,
Yes.
Cavelli,
Yes.
Kraus,
Yes.
McAlpine,
Yes.
Weinhammer,
Yes.
and Betts.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving to items for separate action. I have 2 things on the agenda. One, we will open a public hearing to consider the approval of an ordinance making the annual appropriation ordinance for the Village of Cary, McHenry, Illinois for the fiscal year beginning May 1st, 2020 and ending April 30th, 2021. We have the hearing open. We have 1 visitor. Is there any input or anything that you have in there? So we'll go ahead and close the open forum or the public hearing at 6:11, since there was no public input on this. So I will entertain a motion to recess the village board meeting to an open, I should have done that before, to entertain a motion to recess the village
We
board
can
meeting to.
skip that one, right?
You can, did you want to take any comment from the board or just ask for that?
We're going to vote on this?
Okay. Anybody have any comments on the appropriations?
So we're not doing anything with it?
No, we are. I just read the wrong part of the
Okay, no
motion.
problem. No problem.
When I looked at it, I read the wrong part, so.
No
It
problem.
virtually says the exact same thing.
Yes, it
But I
does.
didn't ask for a motion, so just so we are on the same page, I will do the motion. Sorry about that, folks in Zoom land. I will entertain, pardon me?
For this one.
Yes,
Yep.
okay. I will entertain a motion to approve making the annual appropriation ordinance for the Village of Cary, McHenry County, Illinois for the fiscal year beginning May 1st, 2020 and ending on April 30th, 2021.
So moved.
Second. Are there any comments from the village board, either on Zoom or present?
And just a quick update too for the village board. As you know, we approved our budget, which pretty much outlines our spending authority here from village staff perspective. The appropriation ordinance is required by Illinois state law, and that limits the legal spending authority for village staff. So I think that most of the board is aware of the appropriation ordinance. This is just the next step in the budget process.
No comments? Roll call, please.
Cavelli? Kraus?
Yes.
McAlpine?
Yes.
Weinhammer?
Yes.
Betts?
Yes.
Collier?
Yes.
Thank you. I apologize for that snafu. Moving to the administrator's report. Jake, anything?
Mayor, Village Board, just want to give you a quick update. We're getting ready for our annual audit process here, so we are working with our auditors to see if there's an opportunity where we can do some of the audit, the field work that they typically do remotely. So they will be potentially spending a little bit of time in the office, but we're trying to limit that as much as possible due to COVID-19. That's all I had.
Thank you. Chief Finland?
The police department and the fire department are going to be engaged in a friendly rivalry, almost like a sibling rivalry. Beginning August 1st, McDonald's will be counting the number of blue raspberry for the police department or wild cherry for the fire department, and whichever agency receives, or people buy more of one drink versus the other, McDonald's will make a donation to a charity of the agency's choice in their name. So for the month of August, they'll be counting either blue raspberry or wild cherry at McDonald's to determine popularity between the fire department and the police department.
Awesome.
Go,
Thank you.
Chief, go.
Director Simmons, anything?
It's hard to follow that one up, but just to piggyback on Lakota's presentation earlier, just wanted to reiterate the project does have a website that we've established. It's downtowncarystrategicplan.com. You can also get to it via the village's website. So any residents that are interested in the project, they'd be able to log on to that website, submit their name and email information. They'll be notified of when certain events are taking place throughout the planning process. They'll be notified of any open houses or meetings that take place, so they can continue to be engaged throughout the entire process. But we're at the very initial stages of the project right now, as the Lakota had mentioned, anticipating that a final plan will be brought before the village board by this time next year. So any questions that the board has at any time, very welcome to reach out to me. More than happy to give you information on the process and where we're going at, but also the public, they're able to access it via that website, downtowncarystrategicplan.com.
Thank you, Brian. Director Morimoto, do you have anything for us? Eric, are you there?
Oh, yes, I am. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Just one quick update on the construction front. We have well 10 construction over the Fox Trail subdivision is underway. And so we'll start seeing some of the initial site work and layout going on. Specifically, probably the biggest item will be the grading and excavation that is expected to begin later this week. One item of note that the excess earth material from that project is going to be relocated temporarily over to Rotary Park, where our staff will be using that for the construction of a new access trail for the dock access near the parking lot. So we have a twofold process here with these two projects, but we're looking forward to getting those two underway with our contractor and our staff. And that's all I have for now.
Thank you, Eric. Are there any future agenda items in discussion by the village board?
Oh.
Anything from Zoom?
No.
Thank you.
No.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please. We have to do roll
Sorry.
call now because we have a new process during this thing. Thanks to Scott.
Betts,
Yes.
Collier,
Yes.
Belly,
Yes.
Kraus,
Yes.
McAlpine,
Yes.
and Weinhammer.
Yes.
Thank you very much. We will reconvene in just a few minutes. It's 6:17.